This video is on the first steps that you want to be taking in order to make money as a developer. A while back, I made a little video talking a little bit about, the things that you need to do and be as a developer to increase your earning power and kind of progress. But one of the things that some people who commented pointed out is that, okay, well, a lot of these things are things you learn on the job. How the hell am I meant to improve those skills if I can't get a job in the first place? And so I want to make this video about that. Like, what are the specific steps that you want to take if you have no experience whatsoever? Like, how the fuck do I get started, basically, right? And that seems to be a question on a lot of people's minds. And I try and help people solve that a little bit. I have a talent database for people, and you can apply if you're junior as well. But, how do you optimize your profile to start from nothing? What I can say is I think the communication and effectively like kind of a little bit of marketing is what you want to be doing. A lot of people said, oh, you can only learn some of those skills on the job, like learning to be super detail oriented, learning to deal with complex kind of like problems, merge conflicts, having better PR hygiene, etc. If you do not have the ability to learn that from a job and you can't apply those skills, whatever you do know and you do have as skills, create things with those skills that you can showcase publicly. So make your GitHub profile attractive, make a personal website, talk about what you're doing, talk about what you're learning, talk about your curiosity. So like spend time learning to communicate to the world better your capabilities and your interests. If you show somebody that in your spare time, you read about React, about, let's say like caching issues, like how to optimize things, there are a handful of things that definitely you can only really learn from kind of like on the job, learning from better developers than yourself. Absolutely. But while you don't have that yet, while you don't have that job where you can learn from somebody yet, spend time on marketing yourself as somebody who wants to learn, because people will want to teach you. And yeah, you cannot learn everything by yourself. A lot of things, you learn on a job, but there's still a really good amount of stuff that you can learn by yourself. And it's a limiting belief if you tell yourself, oh, well, I can't possibly know that because that I could only learn on a job. Regardless of whether that's true, it's useful to just try and learn as much as you can on your own and talk about those learnings. Don't just study them by yourself, but show the world that you are doing that. Make a better portfolio, make a better GitHub, and then talk about those things publicly. So that might be, I would suggest LinkedIn or Twitter. I think those two platforms are the best to get yourself out there as a professional. LinkedIn as a professional, great. Twitter more if you want to focus on like tech, startup communities. Twitter's still very, very strong. Just be active on those, like post once a day, talking about the stuff that you're learning. Eventually somebody's gonna like take notice, or when you apply for a job at a startup or something, they're gonna see. Okay, one tip if you wanna grab a job at a particular startup, like find a company that's hiring a developer and find a relatively small company. So we're talking, less than like 20 people, you can reach out and they can notice you. And if the CEO doesn't have like loads of connections, they don't have like, 10,000 followers or something, you can reach out to them on Twitter or on LinkedIn, stuff like that. And like try and DM them, you can mention them, you can tag them in a post, whatever, and say, hey, I saw your job opening. Here's my application and an article that I wrote about this particular piece of technology because I think that could help you. Go out of your way with particular opportunities. Don't try and spray and pray and like constantly DM people, hey, I want a job, I want a job, I want a job. Like I'm looking for opportunities. That's not what you want to show. What you want though is like make a post about somebody, right? So find somebody who has a job opening and has a company and make a post about their CEO and say, hey, Thomas, I saw that you're hiring for your company, Fish Deck. This is my application publicly. Something like that, where it's like a public stunt where you tag them. Because if you make a post about somebody on LinkedIn or on Twitter, usually they will pay more attention, right? Because they've been tagged. You just make sure to find somebody who's active there. And then they're gonna be, well, who is this guy? And if you've been doing the other things about posting what you're learning, what you're curious about, things like that, if you've been posting all that, they'll click on your profile and look and be like, oh, this kid's interested. This kid's like curious about things. Maybe this is actually a good hire. And as a junior, you might be more cost competitive. So like if you are cheaper and willing to learn fast, you are a good hire. If you cost the same as a mid-level developer with experience, then yeah, they're still gonna choose the mid-level because the mid-level probably has experience, right? But if you are a junior with no experience, but you show a willingness to learn, I think that can also make you a pretty good competitive hire. And so that's, I think, some pretty timeless advice on like how to make your first steps into making money. This applies whether you want to do freelancing, contracting, or get a full-time job. I think to get your first experience, like really going out of your way to get attention from like a community is really important. So where are you being public about your intentions and where are you being public about your interests, your curiosities, your capabilities? Like that is a really, really important aspect of how to find that first job. It's the marketing and the communication side. I know that's not the most fun. The good part is like once you get the ball rolling, you don't have to get the first job again. Comment if you have any other questions and do subscribe if you enjoyed.